the new system, you know, and
Well, you gotta remember the system that we took over, they was building internment camps to put us in.
uh-huh,
Guess who about to be there now?
them,
Police, judges, and attorneys, politicians.
that's right,
All of them gonna have to, because this is a true conspiracy to
right,
undermine the tribes of the land.
fact,
When you go to the FEMA continuity of government document, it tell you on the face of the document that it is the U.S. government and tribal government.
mm-hmm,
Tribal government governs all tribal land according to the Indigenous Rights Acts.
right,
It's all tribal land except for the 10 square miles that they call DC. But if we stake a totem pole in DC, we can
right,
reclaim that too.
and we did
So I
that,
told you where they staked the totem pole to reclaim DC. So when tribal jurisdiction, which grandfathers in before 1492,
go ahead,
when the war in the Americas start, under the tribal jurisdiction and the great law, we can restore the matriarchy and we can restore the tribal government across the land. There's a couple things that we have to change. Lines of demarcations in capital cities all have to change. They can go back to what they was before the settlers came, like the territory that's now Illinois. The capital was Chicago, now it's Springfield, right? It can be moved back. It's going to be the discretion of the local people where to put the new capital based on the new state lines, because the states will not be divided up into 50 states any longer. I think they're going to cut it down to 10 territories.
yep, like that's how it was back in, yep, like it was before,
And then the 10 territories is going to have a grand matriarch who's going to have village matriarchs, city matriarchs, county matriarchs, right?
mm-hmm,
So let's say you got 10 cities might make up a county. You got 10 matriarchs make up a county board, but
right,
they all are the matriarch of the town,
right,
what we would call the mayor. When she get to down there, the ones that make up the county government, the most competent among them is the default leader. And now all of the counties go to talk to the next tribal mother, which would cover the state or the territory.
mm-hmm,
And they will pass problems of community development and the application of resources among themselves. And then they would call in like the chiefs who's skilled in this area.
mm-hmm,
How do we solve this problem right here? This is what we're dealing with. And all of the chiefs who specialize in the area have to answer to the tribal council of mothers. They used to just call them the tribal council, but now you got to identify because they keep putting drag queens in the mix.
right,
So it's the tribal council mothers, and they will sit there and they will all listen, and then they will ask you a series of questions based on their concerns. Then they take all of the accumulated information and then they will start whittling it down to what's most practical, most functional, and most beneficial to the collective. If every individual's issue have enough people because it affected one person, based on the number of people, is that one person's issue have enough people that's not saying nothing that need it dealt with the same. This the
right,
difference in the type of government they call in the democracy now, where the majority can brutalize the minority. It ain't gonna be no more of that. Everybody got to have a level playing field, or the game not fair. And we talking about the game of life. If your only concern is financial, that's the least of your concern.
Right.
You just don't know it yet. The
Right.
financial concerns was created by a system of debt and fractional reserve banking. This is what have us in the consumer's mentality of, oh, I won't be able to pay my mortgage. Oh, I won't be able to pay my lights. All that stuff supposed to be paid by the government anyway. Everybody got an absolute right to food, clothing, and shelter. And
Right.
anything that comes with food, clothing, and shelter is the responsibility of the government that is derived from a collection of the families of the area. And we can take information from one government or governing body to another if we find something that works easy and works well.
Right.
Right. So in the FEMA continuity of government, the tribes is pulling rank. And I'm just speaking up for them.
Okay.
Notice the agent is notice the principle. Everything I do is in the public domain. In their
Right.
face, not behind their back. I'm telling them straight and direct. The gig is up. The tribes is back. We back for everything they owe, and they owe us everything. So I'm just here to make sure we collect.
That's right.
Right.
Run.
And,
Oh.
and our system doesn't take place until their system falls. Their system is destined to fall because it can't stand under its own weight because it's built on a house of cards.
Thanks.
Right. And we didn't play the Trump card.
Thanks.
And they came with Chucks and Pearls and tried to slide a drag queen in on us like we wasn't going to catch it.
Yeah, right. Right.
Because there's at least three Kamalas, and one of them is a man.
Yeah, the one that had the pearls in our ear at the debate.
You can tell them apart so easy once you know it's at least three of them. Because one of them, she bouncy and youthful and she don't do all that giggling.
Yeah.
And then you got the one that she not so bouncy, not so youthful, can't stop giggling. The giggler. Right? And then you got the man who talk like a man.
Yeah. Hey, bro, my phone on 1%, man. We're 2 hours though. Hey, y'all. You got anything you gonna say, Rod, before we get out of here?
Nope. You can go and wrap us up, Elder.
Hey, if y'all want to show Rod some love, like I say, he don't do it for the money, man, but we like to show him some love. We had 5,000 people on tonight. We want to thank y'all for coming on. Like it was a spur of the moment with 5,000 people. It's a lot of people. We got about 1,500 on right now, man. If y'all send Rod $1, that'll put him in the game. If you want to send him more than that, man, that'll be love too, man. And we about to get up out of here, man. Free Dr. Malachi New York, free Larry Hoover, free Angel Bay. Free, H. Rap Brown, man. Free all our political prisoners on the land. The real chiefs, man. Because them guys in there because they stood for something.
Was just said, but I don't hear it now. So what I was basically presenting to you was I've been getting a lot of information sent to me concerning this banking situation. As they're saying October the 1st, the banks are going to crash on a global level. And that's what I pretty much wanted you to address because I know that you are familiar with a lot of those things.
Okay, if you pay attention, the stock markets, right, is experiencing a lot of downturns in the market. Everything was trending down in the stock market. Okay, the Vatican holdings, they saying it's only a couple $2 billion, but it's at least $1 trillion. It's at least $1 trillion hole going to be in the global economy.
Oh, wow.
Right? That's a big hole. It's going to cause banks to start folding up. I was listening to Charlie Ward the other day. He was saying that his wife couldn't even get money out the bank because the banks are no longer liquid. There's no fluidity in the currency. That means they don't have cash or money to give you on reserve. Their reserves is depleted. So we're looking at all of this is cumulative, right? So all of that from him calling in the money to like 10, 12 days later, they announced the Queen Elizabeth is dead. And all of these things is like, because she been gone, right? Though they just now announced it on the, I think it was the 9th, right? So the effect is when the Vatican get done calling in all of their assets, none of the global economies is going to be able to stand, because the Vatican is who issued letters patent to charter each one of these legal fictions that we call governments.
Right.
They are the holders of the deed or the title to all of those. And that's the money they calling in.
Isn't that the same thing as saying like the Vatican pretty much control world governments?
They do. It's a collaboration, right? The collaboration is 3 city-states. It's always been 3 city-states. They just moved 2 of the cities, well, really 1 of the cities, from the military strength. So now the 3 city-states is the Vatican City, London, and DC. Now DC is closed, right? So if you go to the maps, Google Maps, or go to your map on iPhone and put in White House 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, it's going to tell you that it's permanently closed, right?
Okay.
That all of that's because this shit is over with. We right now trying to get the grassroots aware of what the elites are doing, so they not caught so off guard. And then you have idiots that think we crazy because we telling them what to look for and what we seeing.
So with that being said, what is it? First of all, can you explain a little more in depth as far as like the specifics of how we're actually going to be affected by all this?
We can't say that because this has never happened before. There's no frame of reference. There's no frame of reference to say what it's going to look like. You can just only identify the building falling. You can't identify the crash site after the aftermath of the falling building. This is over with right now. We definitely going to have an economic drought for at least 60 days. People are going to be, a lot of the energy companies, like people scared to stop paying their bills because they don't want to interrupt their electric and their gas. It's coming. Your lights gonna get turned off, your gas gonna get turned off, maybe even your water gonna get turned off. If you don't know how to survive off the fat of the land, you might not make it through them 60 days. It's gonna be a lot of elderly people that's gonna be put to rest because they own oxygen machines, ventilators, and all that shit. They don't know electricity. If they at home, you need a backup generator. If you don't got one, you ain't gonna make it.
Right, because my mother is on oxygen. Actually, the house that I stay in now, my mother actually left it to me and moved back up north to Maryland with my sister because, pretty much with her health, my sister is a nurse. She can better care for her. But yeah, my mother's on oxygen. So in other words, you're saying that we really don't know what to expect and how detrimental that this banking catastrophe can actually have an effect on us.
No, there's no frame of reference. It's gonna get bad, but it's only gonna be bad for a limited amount of time.
And why is that?
Because all of these systems is collapsing.
Right.
The government that they run in the pantomime show, as Charlie Ward called it, it's just a stage show. They got like 14 Joe Bidens. I can't even count all of the motherfuckers I didn't see.
Bro said you can't even count all these motherfuckers. Okay,
right.
So should we keep our money in the banks? Should we take?
If I was you, I already took mine out. I would convert as much of my money into what they call precious metals as possible.
Like we were speaking about the other night, gold and silver.
Right, because the new economy is going to be predicated upon a substance-backed utility. It's not going to be a fiat.
Which is what we're in now, funny money.
Right.
Basically, funny money.
Yeah, monopoly money.
Yeah. So let's say, for example, a person that has $250,000 in the bank, what you suggest is that they go get $250,000 worth of gold.
Gold and silver, yeah.
Or silver. And is this going to be a means that we'll be able to still trade with the stores or companies that can remain open if there's a such thing as, because it almost seems like everybody's going down, even the companies. So there'll be no bartering and trading. You just have to sort of hold it until everything goes back to normal.
Well, it ain't, well, they consider normal ain't finna come back. But we're gonna have a new normal. The new normal is gonna be more prosperous than the old normal. But in order to get to that, we're gonna have to go, you can't have a baby without labor.
Right.
Right? It's just not gonna happen. This new world that's coming up is not gonna appear until the old world is destroyed. It's just like we already lived yesterday. We can't go back and relive that motherfucker. We done with it. We're moving into the future.
Basically.
And the closest thing you can do to reliving yesterday is mirror it in the future. That's it. That's the closest you can get.
So, you know, a lot of people are afraid of all of this that's coming because I think that they're not really cognizant as to the effects. And like you said, there's really no rhyme and reason or no script or nothing that we can actually measure it to. From your personal perspective, what would you suggest people do living wise? Because I mean, people can't live.
You froze.
Without electricity. People either.
Look, they gonna have to figure it out. You're gonna have to learn how to live off the fat of land because they're not paying people like me any attention. They writing us off as crazy until they caught in the condition, in the position that they can't defend themselves. They gonna be at the mercy of nature.
You sure know what to say because it's like the more you try to prep them in advance, again, they start saying that we crazy is wrong with us. But as soon as they get their ass in the actual problem, then now they running and looking for us for help.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be able to be reached. Because while that shit going on, listen,
I ain't gonna be able to be reached.
Look, while that shit going on, I'm gonna be taking my hiatus. I'm gonna be gone for 6 months. Right? I'm gonna be. I already don't like doing social media. I never liked social media ever. The only reason I'm on here is because it gives me the furthest reach to the grassroots. And they have to be made. The information got to be made available to them. They don't got to believe me. All they got to do is just keep ignoring me and just watch. I'm gonna be straight, but if some of them ain't gonna make it, like I told you, they turning off the lights. That's the signal, right? They shutting down the electric grid. The excuse they're gonna use is a solar flare, but it's really gonna be them turning that shit off in real time. They trying to turn it off before the solar flare hit. The one that they looking for ain't hit yet. If they don't turn it off, it's going to fry all of the systems, and then it's going to be months before they get infrastructure in the electromagnetic grid back up.
So can you explain the flares for the people that really don't know what that is and how it affects?
Right. So the sun have explosions on it. These explosions release massive amounts of electromagnetic energy, UVAs, UVBs into the earth. And when it get here, it has an effect on your melanin. It has an effect on your central nervous system, but it also affects our electrical system of the planet.
That's correct.
So when the system, the way it's set up now, if they don't turn it off when the major flare that they waiting on, they gonna have 6 minutes to shut it off from the time they find out that that massive explosion occurred on the sun before them rays hit the earth. They're gonna have about 6 to 9 minutes. Once that happens, they just gonna shut it off. They're not gonna ask nobody for permission. And they have to do it because if they don't, it's gonna overburden the wiring and fry wires everywhere. They're not going to be able to reboot the system. But they're not going to know until that explosion happens because it's been happening in smaller, small explosions. this shit is natural with the sun. What's not going to be natural is them shutting the electric off. That's going to be man-made.
Right.
Now, in the process, they was the Bush Clan, the garden plot to eliminate us was to use EMP and fry the system so we can't turn it off and preserve it. It has to be turned off, but they're not going to even be able to tell you in time enough for you to make any contingency when that flare comes. You know, they already turned off the Schumann resonance recorder about a week ago. The reason they did that is because that's telling you that the constant increase in the vibration, the grid is about to flip. When the electromagnetic grid flip, it's going to be time to that explosion on the sun. They know it's going to happen. It happened before. It happened in a similar manner every so often. And they can time it based off the position of the stars.
Right.
Because they all work hand in hand. So where the earth is in relation to the sun, where the sun is in relation to Orion, Sirius, Pleiades, and Arcturus, tells them when it's coming. They can use the star map and time it damn near to the minute. They can't get it to the second, but they can get it to the minute. They know, they just not telling us.
Right. So, in other words, basically people are going to actually be under certain types of conditions based on them not knowing, and basically listening to the brothers and sisters that's out here disseminating this information to put them in the know. And it's going to cause them to be pretty much on some last minute preparation shit. Like, y'all could have had all this time to prepare if y'all would have listened, but now it's too late pretty much.
This is why everybody keeps saying the purge is coming. You imagine when all these people, they gonna raid the grocery stores, that's coming. When they realize that everything is down and they don't know when it's coming back up, they just gonna panic. And in the panic, the first thing they're gonna do is raid the grocery stores.
Right.
When you see the people raiding the grocery stores, you already know right then that the shit, because it's not gonna be on no TV or news. It's not going to be on the radio. All that shit going to be turned off.
Right.
And that's what's going to make people panic, because they're not going to have any information source to tell them, what the fuck is this going on? So they're not.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so they're not going to be ready. And we all know proper preparation prevents poor performance, and all of them is improperly prepared to perform properly. Right? So they creating the condition that they're going to see when this shit happen by their level of understanding of the condition as a whole.
Wow. So that's going to be big. Time-wise, how long do you think that it's going to be before all of this stuff comes to a full head?
It could be any minute. Truthfully speaking, it's imminent. And imminent means that it can happen at any minute without nobody knowing. But they gave us a couple of signs. The Queen of Lizard bitch burial or funeral is Monday.
Okay.
Right? Look at the number on that date. Okay, then the Pope gave them to the end of September because the fiscal year ends in October. So they had to the end of September to get everything in before the end of the fiscal year. The fiscal year is when you calculate, or the closing of the fiscal year is when you add up all of your wealth before you do anything with it. It's a corporate practice.
Right.
Right. So the annual year may end in December, but the fiscal year ends in October.
Okay.
Right. So the Pope has to have everything in enough time for it to be counted for the fiscal year. Right. The fiscal year is closing. They've been working per diem in the United States. Right. The country has been artificially floating per diem, I mean by the day, based on the contracts that's people been under. Now we at critical mass. It's enough people that left their jobs, took their children out of this motherfucking slave trading system they call a school. And now everything is starting to come to a head. Because the lizard bitch been dead since like 2018. And you know the day that she died because the crest fell off the gates of Buckingham Palace. That wasn't an accident, that was a sign. If you look at Prince Charles, King Charles, whatever the fuck he want to call himself tomorrow, but if you look at him at the funeral, how disheveled he looked, that's the cow toe ritual of them Sandy Lodge.
Okay.
Right? His tie is the cable tie, the cow tie. And then he got his dish shot. Only thing he didn't do is have his pants leg up. That's it.
So what was the point of delaying putting people in the know that Queen Elizabeth had died?
Wait a minute, so ask that question again.
What was the point of delaying putting out the information that the Queen Elizabeth had died?
Because it's critical things that follow that. First of all, it's a signal for a power change. Chess. What happened me and you playing chess and I take your queen?
Shit, I'm vulnerable.
Vulnerable, and the odds is you're not gonna win that game.
Right.
It's almost over. Well, the queen in real life is the king on the chessboard. Well, what happened when I take your king on the chessboard?
I still have a chance with my queen because I can move all over the board.
Right, but when I take your king, what's the
Oh, when you take my king, that's checkmate.
Checkmate. That's what it means. Checkmate. And the checkmate, now they have to close the game. If you in Vegas and you at the crap table, when you hear the owner of the or the manager of the casino say, everybody that's cashing out, report to the cash out center, all games are closed. What would that mean economically for that casino? That mean they finna count up their money.
Right.
Pay who they gonna pay, close up shop. Casinos run 24 hours. So if the casinos is running 24 hours and the guy that's running the casino say cash out, well, you want to hold on to your poker chips or you want to cash them in? Because once they cashed in, or if you don't cash them in the allotted time, you won't be able to cash them in.
Right.
Right. So this is what we're looking at. The game is over.
So have they already appointed who's going to take her position?
It's not announced, but none of them. It's our time to shine now. It's our world. The new world is ours.
Oh, yeah. So
the white man world over with.
You said, say that again?
The white man's world is over with.
So I was speaking with Brother Love about, you know, the alchemy of the letters and the language. I'm the language teacher for everybody, pretty much. And Brother Love is my mentor. So he kind of sort of, you know, try to guide me right as far as like, you know, how to actually, you know, presentation basically. So my question is, what does us learning our language have to do, if it does any, with us actually being in the new world and projecting ourselves in the new world to thrive in that new world?
Okay, so in the new world, everything is frequency. It's vibration and frequency. The linguistics is directly tied to the vibration and frequency of the electromagnetic grid. Nuwapic was designed for a specific reason. Dr. York could tell us why he put it out. I think it's in the introduction text to the language of why he came out with the Nuwapic. Because we finished all of the organic people to the so-called Americas is going to be enrolled in Nuwapic. So you one of the ones who's going to have to be the teacher of teachers in order to raise the vibration. It's about tones and sounds.
Okay. So you say the new world is about frequency, and will Nuwabic be a language in your mind that will replace the law of vibrational frequencies that are being put out there?
Absolutely. We're gonna be going to Nuwapic class for all of the organics. Anybody that want to learn Nuwapic is going to be welcome to learn it, because English is going to be in the future what Latin is now.
Right.
Right. So the only place you find Latin is in legalese, in medical leagues.
So they made these super soldier dudes, right? And they like you ain't just gonna kill them like you do a regular person. And their job is to deal with what we call unnatural phenomenon. Right. About 2 months ago, maybe less, in Mexico, it was reported that the Mexican military had encountered a being and he was fucking them up. He was kicking their tail. So they called in for backup. A black helicopter landed, and a group of these super soldiers jumped out the helicopter, and they was using energy weapons to subdue the being that the Mexican military was fighting. And they subdued him, then they picked him up, took him on the helicopter, and disappeared. Right. That's almost the same as the Kandahar giant that they found in Afghanistan when they were so-called looking for Obama. I mean, looking for Osama. Thing.
You know,
Obama, Osama.
I'm not shocked
Bin
because
Laden, Joe Biden.
the world is mysterious to me. Everything
Wait,
is
hold on. Someone in the chat said you're muted. No one's muted, and we haven't muted anybody. Can you guys put a 1 in the chat if you're hearing Rod right now, and put a 2 if you can't hear him?
Can you put a 1 in the chat, y'all, if y'all can hear when Rod is talking, because we hear him clearly. Thank you so much.
Okay, so everything is good. It seemed like Dragon Brave, you just need to go out and come back in. Everybody else can hear. All right.
I don't know why my glasses are not clear. Oh, that's kind of weird. Maybe because how I got them on or something. But you know what? Let me say this to you, Rod. Life is a mystery to me. This whole situation is a mystery to me. Being born is a mystery, and dying is a mystery. And as you get older, for those who don't even think about death because they're still at a age where they're probably not even thinking about it, just living their life. As I got older, I started really pondering.
Yeah, is she glowing? Looking like she about to go do a toothpaste commercial.
Lean with it, rock with it, lean with it. What's up?
You go though. But
sorry, y'all.
Is Rod, and when you say things about unidentified objects, in other words, because life is such a mystery itself. If something did attack Earth,
I'm saying something about getting attacked,
or just come to Earth, okay, maybe it won't attack us. Be honest with you, the undone people, the white man, to me, is an unidentified object. You came to Earth to destroy, divide, separate. Everything about them just seems, they smell and look like unidentified objects to me.
You gotta remember, the white man not white according to law.
No, I understand that. But I'm just saying so everybody can be on the accordance of whom I'm talking about. This thing, okay, is an unidentified object to me. So what I'm saying is, if something did, with all the stuff that's going through my mind about this world and how it even is, I wouldn't be shocked. We would have to deal with it, or just
look. This is University Earth.
Hmm.
It's a holographic construct. University Earth, a holographic construct where you play the game of the gods. The game of the gods is called life.
Hmm.
And it was created for the eternal ones to experience mortality, even if it's not true mortality. So the immortal beings,
I'm just put myself on Avatar for a second because it's. Oh, wait a minute. Let me fix that. That's is gonna come up on it because she must have been on here. Edit. Sorry about that. Go ahead. I'm listening to you.
okay, so in university life, the gods come in as infants because,
Hmm.
and amnesia comes because you have to learn the rules of life by living life. Nobody teaches you the rules of life when you a toddler or uh, elementary age child. You learn it by going through stuff, by surviving stuff, what work and what don't work, and experience being the best teacher. If you um, your life flash before your eyes, they call that dying while you awake. To die while you awake is to tune in to your higher consciousness. It's also known as the ego death, where you do shadow work in order to slay the ego.
Hmm.
And the shadow work in the occult is called purification of the ego. And the shadow work is the method by which the ego is purified. What's the side effect of the purification of the ego? What's called enlightenment or full consciousness of your God self working within the confines of your physical vessel. Once you're able to tap that energy, it activates what's called higher senses. Higher senses is governed from a different set of principles than 3D reality can be molded to. But you have to know how to translate the messages into the 3D by knowing a whole bunch of useless information. Then it becomes useful once you start seeing that everything is interconnected and related. And it's a unified field theory concept. And we are here because we agreed to collapse this reality at this point in time because we are the generators and the operators and destroyers of the realm. The spirits of the earth take on physical form in order to do what's in the best interest of the earth.
Right. I can
Right.
see what you're saying now.
Hmm.
I'm trying to find some glasses that make sense here because for some reason my eyes is got smoke in them and they're not doing well. But yes. But what I'm trying to say, Rod, and I know the girls probably want to start. We started a mystical conversation, y'all, because this is just like open panel. We just talking about any and
Whatever.
everything. But at first, as a child, try not to make this long. You know, when you go to Sunday school, you believe in the mystical God. You believe in the every book, everything that's in the Bible, because you know you're a child until you put childish things away. So, but when the reality hits you that there's no man in the sky, then you sitting at the end of your bed talking about some, huh? So if everything in the Bible is just symbolic stories, so now your mind is starting to come to this, what the hell? Nothing makes
So
sense anymore.
Dr. Clark said, the way our ancestors used to teach,
Hmm.
a story doesn't have to be true to carry
Right.
the truth in it.
Facts.
The Bible is a contract. It's a collection of stellar events told in parable form.
Mhm.
Only in Revelations do you get the full astrological timetable of
Mhm.
what's taking place. They told us that we was going through this condition for 6,000 years,
Right, but it really be
right?
something different. Mhm.
So the 6,000 year mark is relative to what, right? Because they say Jesus wasn't even born until 7 AD. That's their biblical birth date. Well, how in the hell is it 7 AD and he ain't born yet? Because AD stand for Anno Domini, meaning after the dominion, and the implication is that they talking about the dominion of Christ. So he would have been born at the 0 point of the calendar on his birth being the AD BC flip, right? Beyond the history before Christ, the history after Christ. AD BC. BC stand for before Christ. BCE is before Christian era. So now you have a 2,000-year-old God that wasn't born at the 0 point of his birth. That's a problem. He got a 500-year-old name supposed to hold the same power with a name in a foreign language that he held in the original language. That don't even match. Then they confuse you with the stories because it's called the holy drama. That's the most raw, uncut form of the story you're going to ever find. But because we don't recognize they use it like they use viruses to make vaccine. You core out the inside and the body build antibodies to fight it off. Well, in the religion, they rewrote with the outline of the holy drama, but they wrote it coded with star alignments, with names that's actually titles that's telling you a thing. Like the book of Daniel is the book of the judgment of El. Daniel means judgment of El, or the Din Alel is the way of God. So Daniel is, or the judgment or the discernment of. But they tell us that Daniel's name was Daniel. But in the book, he was one of those three thrown in the furnace named Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And they say it was Nebuchadnezzar who changed his name, right? And the whole Nebuchadnezzar is a whole nother breakdown. But they chose to not translate certain titles and not translate certain words, but give them a transliteration in order to use that as a means to mislead you.
You know what? I never thought it was a misleading. I had to grow up to understand how to decipher it. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to go into a Bible thing. It was just the reality of knowing now that there's no man up in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
That you are your own God conscious. I mean, the reality of the fantasy not being real. That was my breaking point, I think. Where now you got to understand that you are just a form of nature,
Mm-hmm.
just a particle of the earth, and just like you said, it had to happen this way in order to make the earth work.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
we are, I be hearing people talking about we in a reincarnation trap and all this BS, right? We not in no reincarnation trap.
what you
That's
mean?
BS. We not trapped here. We came here on our own free will.
Hmm. I
There
don't
ain't
think you
nobody,
are
ain't
not.
nobody, ain't nobody trapped here. They talking about don't go into the light. That's a soul trap. Bullshit.
I just think that you ain't got no choice. You just a part of nature, and if you're gonna come back, that's because nature just replenishes everything that dies. I don't think you get a choice. I think that you just reincarnate. But that's, hey sister, looking beautiful. Hey,
Did Dulcie get to go yet?
No, not really.
No, you can skip me.
Oh, damn.
We had started on this mystical little conversation, but there is a lot more that we could be talking about. But we were kind of talking until you got on here, type thing, and
Okay. All right. Well. Hey Rod, what's up? What's up? What's up, chat?
What's
How y'all
going
doing?
on?
How y'all doing? How y'all? All right. So let's turn this up a little bit. Okay. I have a question in regards to the goings on. Okay. So you know, what does the age of Aquarius mean, right? Since we are in the age of Aquarius right now. And what does that mean? And then I have a follow-up question in regards to what's going on with Diddy, okay? And linking that to Aquarius. Or you can kind of just freak out on that.
Just like you got zodiac signs, Scorpio, Pisces, you got ages that correspond to each one of the signs of the zodiac. Aquarius correspond to the zodiacal sign of the Aquarians. And so when we talk about the age of Aquarius, we coming out of Pisces going into Aquarius. The age of Pisces was the last age we was under, and it started to transfer over. It wasn't fully complete until we had what's called the Great Hamerta, which is the alignment to the center of the galaxy, which you have them every so often because that's the point of the reset in this construct. And the age of Aquarius is ushering in the age of knowing. The same description for Aquarius zodiac is the same description for the new age that we going into, where you know in your head a lot, but now you're gonna be having answers to when you in your head. You're gonna be able to see things that you didn't know you could see, and you're gonna have to be prepared over a period of time in order to be able to function when the full-fledged energies of the Aquarian age starts to take over. So the Aquarian age is the next zodiac sign of Earth that Earth is about to go through.
Okay. And how would you link that? So do you keep up with pop culture? I'm sure you do, right?
Yeah, you can't miss it.
Right, exactly. So what does that, what are your thoughts around this whole expose of Diddy, for example, right? So now, you know, of course, he's in the headlines, making news, this, that, and the third. What do you think about that? And what is the bigger message? What would you say to someone who's like, so what does all of this mean?
All of the iconic figures that's been doing nefarious things to hold their positions in the culture has to fall from their positions of power, because there's a new generation of children that's about to become adults that's going to be moving into those positions by birthright, but they still gonna have to put in their work. And when you see guys like what's going on with Diddy, it's another thing that they not showing you that's going on with Diddy too. Right? You got to remember, he not the big fish. He not even the fish in the middle. He just over the bottom of the pond. We down here with the scum, right? And Diddy, he running around with the crustaceans, with the shrimps and the lobsters, right? So the big fish, the sharks and the whales, felt that he was too big for his britches. But the chain reaction is what you're looking for, because the people that's been financing Diddy, everybody know Clive Davis was financing Diddy parties. That's not even the secret, and it's what you call an open secret. Everybody talk about it, but nobody don't act on that information. The same with Larry Cohen, Jimmy Iovine. They all the same. They all in bed with the same MFs. They all work for Israeli Secret Service, Mossad, and they are all operatives to maintain a systems of financial power over the organic people of the Americas. So the pop culture is showing you the disassembling of the entirety of the system by taking key figures off the game board.
Mm.
Go ahead, Dulcie.
You there, Dulcie?
No, you can go, Sister Freedom.
Okay. Okay, speaking on Diddy. With all of the things that they are saying that Diddy has done, would you find him to be, coming from, well, I'm trying to think of a word to use for a person that has done the things that they are saying that Diddy has done. Because it's, the things that he is been said to have been done is off. You know what I'm saying? Devilish, evil, satanic.
Twisted, demented.
Yes. I mean, I was just wondering for a good word to use. I mean, it's like people, like in this time frame, everybody's like turning on him. Why wasn't it happening? Do you see why it wasn't happening before on this level?
Mm-hmm.
And why? I mean, because now they put R. Kelly down. It seems. Do you see a chase now with the Copper Man? Or yeah, because see, why was it happening? Why wasn't it happening before? But Diddy's been doing this for years.
I think that they got progressively out of control over time. I don't think even having the full-fledged Diddy party as it became, I think it morphed into that over a period of time. And early on, it was cute to the people that was visiting them and attending them. But then it turned into something else. Right. So it's a whole lot of stuff in this power dynamic, because this is what you're looking at. You're looking at a power dynamic playing out. You're not looking at a man making a mistake and the system stepping in. You're looking at a changing of the guard in the entire power structure on the planet. The pop culture icons is just one group of people that's going to be removed from their positions of power and glory. You got to remember, as soon as he got indicted on the same day, the whole 23andMe board resigned. There's a whole lot of other stuff going on too, right? And all of these things is for the people to be aware that is somebody somewhere taking these people down in real time, and Diddy is just one of them.
One of them.
Right? But you gotta remember, he ain't been convicted of nothing.
Right.
Right.
That's the things that they are saying, meaning allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me also say this: when Dots asked you about the zodiac signs, so age of Pisces, right? Did you find that to be the age of confusion?
Yeah, Pisces is the sign of the fish. The fish is underwater. But because the fish underwater, he don't know that the water not air, how we perceive air. Right? Even we underwater too. We fish swimming around underwater, but we don't realize that the atmosphere is full of water vapor. It's just a different form of the water. And the age of Pisces is the age of belief, because you can't quite clear see what you're looking at because your head underwater.
I like
Right.
that. I like that.
So the age of Aquarius, the wind is blowing the water. What's the symbol for Aquarius? The one carrying the water jug, right? And the fish is in the water, so it's in reverse, right? In order for it to be water for the fish, the Aquarius had to pull the water out, but it's playing in reverse. The fish came first, the Piscean age. Now we go into the Aquarian age. They put the water back in the vessel. Now the fish on dry land.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Symbolism. So now your head ain't underwater no more, right? Your head in the clouds, because that's what happened to the water when it evaporated, turned into the cloud, right? Airhead, airy, mental, energy, right? All that's coming in on Aquarius.
Mm-hmm. Even, do you think that, I'm sorry, Daz, the aquarium is even bringing the woman into a certain position?
Yeah, because the
Because,
water barrier is not a man. The water
right.
barrier is not a man. They call him, they say that he the one carried water, but the original water barrier was a woman with a long dress on dumping out a Greco-Roman pitcher or a giant vase full of water. A couple
So
years
the
ago, they had a
Aquarius,
phenomenon.
because the Aquarian age is knowing and coming into more information, like coming into more nourishment, more fruit, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, was you going to say that that's like bringing the woman is now going to probably take certain positions?
If you go back to Moorish literature, you see Noble Drew Ali carrying a woman, and the waters is called the cares of the world, right? And he's bringing the woman out of the water, which is the symbol for the chiefs that can read the sign to know the assignment is to raise the woman out of the water, meaning admiralty jurisdiction, bring her back to the land, which is the tribal jurisdiction of the great law. But we only see the picture, and we thinking he talking about his wife. He might be talking about his wife, but when we realize that it's more symbolism involved, we see more than just a man carrying a woman. It's an assignment, right? To uplift fallen humanity, because that's written on the woman's dress, fallen humanity, right? Now, when you look back over world history and you realize that the planet was once all females and that the sacerdotal seat was usurped by the Pope, that's why his seat under Big Mama's seat, and that not only was the sacerdotal seat usurped, but all of the priesthoods was replaced with drag queens instead of priestesses. That's why all of them wear them long robes. Them not robes, them gowns, them nightgowns that women wear. And that was the old Sibyls, the sisters of the Sibyls. They call them in modern science the 12 daughters or sisters of Eve, right? In the lodges, they are the 12 daughters of Isis, right? But they taking it back off the fraternities and sororities, then they take you back to the temples of Delphi. And when you study the temples of Delphi, it tell you that the Delphi temples was erected around an oracle reader who was a young maiden, the Dame of the North, which gives us Notre Dame, right? Notre Dame is in France. And what else is in France? The Parthenon of Isis. And what else is, the Parthenon of Isis. Now they moved the sacerdotal seat from where its original place was, and they set it up in Italy under the Roman reign of the Roman Empire, whose job it was is to usurp the divine feminine, which is the mothers that was the matriarchs, the big mamas across the land, which was the tribal mothers that was the one who was the inheritor of the land, right? So now we have to explain it once we get the receipts and show them where this is what happened, this who did it, this why they did it, this what's taking place. And the biggest traps is all of the isms, right? Those fixed mentalities or ideas that they give you that you ain't supposed to overcome. But the goal of being here is to become an overcomer, overcome whatever the obstacle is before you, right? So in the age of Aquarius, now you get in the information age. The age of knowing brings about the age of knowledge. Knowledge is useless if you don't know how to apply it. The application of knowledge is called wisdom. The one who can properly apply the knowledge in the place that it's supposed to be applied is the wise one, right? And the wisest of the wise can tell you that all of these other people who was putting the pieces where they go, put them all together, and this is the puzzle you get. You unravel the mystery of the ages. But it's not really a mystery. It's an open secret that we, the organic people to the planet, no matter where you find us at, we was already here. And that somebody came from somewhere else, be it through a portal on a ship, or if they just fell off a cloud, wherever the hell they came from, they obviously not from here because everything they doing is belligerent to somebody that live here. And we like to blame the cat's paw for the cat's doing. So
That's
So you brought up oh no, I'm gonna go and then dots. So you brought up 23andMe before we actually get into 23andMe and the CEOs. There was that and all these CEOs that dropped down. Sony and some other CEOs. I can't remember them all on the top of my head. They all dropped down that day. Before we get into the 23andMe, do you think the other CEOs that dropped down because of the Diddy allegations and they know that they're going to be implemented or implicated in all these offenses?
well, it could be sensationalized to give the appearance. Because remember, what they use in the media for is to capture the lowest informational exchange. Is called gossip. So they want to activate the ones with the most amount of power to deal with gossip instead of to deal with information. It's not the same. So the gossip columns can link them all together. Half them people probably was at Diddy parties, but if they was there, they on tape. They videoed them. And you gotta remember, Kim Kardashian blackmail tapes they alleged was found in the Puffy LA home. So whether it's true or whether it's not true, I've been saying for the longest, she was the queen of the damn. That's who Aaliyah was playing in the movie. And that's why she had to get low for exposing Kim Kardashian. So
That's
all of
interesting. I
all
definitely
of that
hear
stuff
that
can
she's
be
scared
connected.
right now too.
Say it again, sweetie.
They say in the reports Kim Kardashian is really freaked out right now.
Yeah.